Everyone.
All right, we're good. All right, hello everyone. This is Govi Goyle and John Levine. Hey, we are here today to talk all things membership. Specifically, we're going to talk about what the Florida chapter is doing. Everything in terms of some of the cool activities, initiatives, all around improving growth, retention, and even the member experience. So with that,
And Govi, if I can interject real quick,
yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this is our third time trying this. So I just want to make sure before we get through, are we on?
We are. We're good.
Fantastic.
The first two are just dry runs, right? So, yeah. We're figuring it out. So,
all right.
Well, so John, why don't you start off, introduce yourself, and of course, give a little background on how you kind of evolved throughout Florida HFMA.
Absolutely. Thank you, Govi, and good afternoon or good morning, whichever time this is that you'll be watching it. Govi did try to take that during take number 2 from me, but I'm taking it back, so we're good. As Govi said, my name is John Levine. I'm the current director of membership and president-elect for Florida HFMA chapter. Like most of you, I've been a part of HFMA for about 7 years, and when you get involved, it's sort of like you meet some really good people at first, and they start placing you in different areas. And I was placed initially in the social committee. I was co-chair for social committee, and then did some work on the education committee. Within a few months, I was the co-chair of the South Region Education. We divide our chapter into 3 separate regions: South, Central, and North. Went in to be chair of Strategic Alliance. Went back into education as the chair. Spent a year doing that. Did director of education for the South, evolved into that, and then worked my way into education director for statewide, and then this year going into director of membership.
That's great. Thanks, John. So
you're welcome.
My background with HFMA, and specifically Florida HFMA, is very similar to John's. I also started off in education. Like many of you out there, I was voluntold to be a chair, and ended up really loving it. I like a lot more being an active member versus a passive member, and so I evolved from being a chair to regional education in the central region, like the Tampa, Orlando area. I then went on to statewide education. It was only after those several roles that I then go into membership. So I think that's something you'll hear throughout our conversations today, that John and I both have a big education spin to our membership. We're a lot more holistic as we think about membership, and we've really worked collaboratively together. And we have regular calls with our education directors to really figure out how do we maximize membership benefits at all of our educational events. So a little bit of background on Florida HFMA. We are one of the largest chapters. I think we're close to 4,000 members.
A little over 4,000 members.
A little over 4,000. So about 2/3 or 3/4 of those are our enterprise members. We've got close to 40 different committees, so we're a very active chapter. And as John had mentioned, we are one chapter, but we have different regions. So we make sure that when we have educational events, we're targeting the different areas of Florida. So a little bit of background on how Florida HMA's membership committee is set up. In membership committees, they really do come in all different types of shapes and sizes. There's really no right or wrong way to set up your committee. This is just one way of doing it, and this is really the way I did it when I was over membership. In just a few moments, you're going to kind of hear some interesting ways that John's going to kind of take this and evolve and set up his membership committee. But I did want to touch upon just a few of these. So we did, with the growth of enterprise members, we decided last year it would be good to have a enterprise membership chair, so that we have kind of a central way to funnel all the activities under enterprise membership. And it's really twofold. This enterprise membership chair was partly responsible really for working with current enterprise members, such as Orlando Health, the Mayo Clinic, um, University of Miami. We've got a handful of enterprise members, and really making sure that they're getting the value from the enterprise membership. So working closely with national, going on site, delivering education to their doorstep, which is something they really liked, doing some certification 101s to their employees, those that are members and looking to get certified, talking about volunteer opportunities and so forth. And then also looking at new opportunities. So we have a lot of organizations here out in Florida that are good candidates for enterprise membership. They have a lot of engagement, a lot of members, and the economics make sense for them. But really, what's kind of missing is really that enterprise membership chair. So we created that chair position to really work with national and identify those new opportunities. And most recently, we've welcomed Moffitt Cancer Center to the family. So we've really had a lot of success with that membership chair. And then in addition to that, I think the volunteer engagement is really something that Florida chapter does well. We have a new member engagement process where every month we will email and welcome new members that have joined, and invite them to join a committee, give them some background, just make them feel more welcomed. But I'll stop there and let John kind of chime in and talk about some things he has for his membership here.
I think, and thank you, Govi. I think one thing that we've always done is we've looked at membership and education as one thing together, especially when Govi and I started doing the respective roles, Govi into membership last year, and even prior to that, especially when I took on the director of education. But one of the things you always have to look at with membership is they do coincide with education in itself. Take enterprise membership, the way that involved was, as we're putting on these one-day events in these hospitals, we were meeting with a lot of the CFOs, a lot of the C-suite staff, and they were like, I really want to get involved, but it's so expensive. How can I make it work? And working with Rich Lucas and his team from National, we did a lot of, lunch and learns with the team and had a lot of those staff. So we were able to then bridge that gap, got some really good interest. And then when Govi then went into membership, he took it for the enterprise space. But we'll bring the volunteer engagement and an education. They will have a lot of these roles just as a chair or as a committee member will then jump on to those regional education and then statewide roles. And I think that that's important because that's how we've evolved. I mean, we're lucky enough to call ourselves one chapter as opposed to 3 different chapters within the state, as I know some states do. But it's really connecting that dotted line to make everybody feel as they are. One of the things with enterprise that we found, and we're really, I'm proud of this that we're doing this year, is that we have our certification chair that we've had in the past, but looking at ways on how we can bridge that gap and get education to our members. I've been trying to get CRCR certified for the last 7 years. I just haven't done it. I'm the type of person that needs to talk to somebody and learn from it. We've heard in the past, well, you can't come at 4, but the person that wants to come to the facility from the enterprise level is not available at that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold lunch and learns starting in August, where we're going to offer 10 weeks of CRCR certification. And then after that, we're going to dovetail over to CHFP and the different certifications that we have. If you can't make it to a meeting, that's no problem. You will then be able to log on online. And this will be open for all of HFMA. So we're really excited and proud of that.
Yeah, no, that's great. With certification not only being all inclusive and now actually being a good time for a lot of folks to study if they are in lockdown. I know we're also, after even thinking forward beyond the CR, CR, and the CHFP, there's about 7 different certifications.
Yeah.
Because our membership is evolving and we're getting a lot of folks joining that are not finance or revenue cycle oriented. We also have that kind of in our long-term plan as well to start pushing those.
And I think that's where it's important on the individual membership, because every week or every month we're sending out information to those new members. But
Yeah.
and we'll talk about this as we go down a little bit, but as we get more involved, I look at it as a new member as somebody who has not involved.
Right.
Why are they not involved? And some people just don't know how to get there, and we'll talk about this in a few slides. But we send out information to those members to try to say, hey, listen, let's get you involved. This is what's going on. And COVID's changed things, but it's also made it more exciting because we can be together a little bit closer virtually without actually at the stuff. And that's a good segue to this.
That's actually, I was going to say, that's a great segue here. So what we're actually thinking about doing, moving in kind of now in this virtual COVID-19 world, because we do have, I personally get emails every week from folks that want to get involved, want to join a committee, but they know that there's no on-site events. So maybe in the past they'd help out registration or introduce speakers. Like they want to figure out what can they do now. We still have webinars where they can get involved in that capacity. But what we're thinking about doing is we're gonna hold, the Florida HMA chapter is gonna hold a virtual volunteer engagement session, probably sometime maybe in middle August. We're kind of in the planning stages of it, but it's really gonna kind of mimic what we would have done on site. So typically we do it in a live environment. We would have it the day before one of our statewide events, where we would invite anyone that really wants to get involved. To John's point, it doesn't have to be a new member, it could be a long-term member. Anyone that wants to learn more about Florida HFMA, some volunteer opportunities, just have fun, some networking. We're gonna put that all into a virtual session. Keep it short, 1-hour session, but pack it with a lot of good content. Invite some of our chapter leaders. Hopefully we can get a lot of more of our chairs and co-chairs taking some more leadership responsibilities, and be able to talk about some of the volunteer opportunities they have. A lot of chairs and co-chairs are building up their committees, and they have some opportunities. And then also leveraging some of the technology, doing some of the breakout room stuff, where folks, if they've indicated, hey, I really want to focus and learn more about certification committee, or I would really want to get involved with a social committee, can I join a breakout room where I can then talk to just that specific chair or board member?
I think and go beyond that, and I think the one thing we're learning as a chapter is how to stay connected when you can't be connected.
Right.
Because one of the things is, if you can't go to an event, if you can't do this, and if you can't go here, what good is it? And we're finding different ways to keep people connected and get them more involved. And we're doing more things than I think we've ever done, from virtual trivia games to happy hours to different things. But I think we need to go into the next slide, just because we are getting on that 13-minute mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I'm also a timekeeper as well.
Well, one other point too. I think you made it's sometimes it's almost easier to network in a virtual capacity, right? You don't have to worry about getting in a car and traveling, or it's cost free, right? So, I think we're learning about that as well. But switching gears,
and we're looking forward to when we can all get back together too.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose sight of that. But as this time is a little bit down, I'll dovetail into this slide, the membership at events. And one of the things we look at as we're talking about is, how do we get more people involved, both at a statewide conference and also at a regional event. And some of these will work out both for regional. So the first one, membership table. You go to an event, you're new to the organization. And when I mean new, you really haven't met a lot of the people. You haven't been able to intertwine yourself in with the members, whether no matter what side you're on, and no matter where you're at. One thing I've always found fortunate is, once you know one person, you can go anywhere and you can always feel welcome at an event, especially when you're involved. So we've set aside this table. Really started this last year where new members can go, they can meet people, they can get involved, but more importantly, if they're not a member and they say, I really want to become a member, right then and there, we sign them up. We also do this at the one-day events. We have a liaison. We have a dotted line to the education, to the regional education directors, and then that person will also sign somebody at an event. What a better time? Let's get them right then and there, and let's talk to them. We'll have a welcome lunch or a welcome breakfast, and this will be at specific times where we'll put a little side. It's not in a separate room. It's actually at the regular area where we have our breakfast or lunch, but it's a nice little area where people can go and just meet people that want to get involved, want to meet similar people to them. And we take it from that point, and it doesn't matter where it's at, breakfast, lunch, dinner's just a good place for people to get to know each other. Because we found some people are a little shyer than others, or just don't want to get, don't know how to intertwine as well or intermingle, and just a good way to bring people together. The buddy program, and we'll get into this with the peer-to-peer program, we talk about that, but it's a segue to that, where prior to an event, we'll actually take our new members or those people that aren't engaged. Govi and I had started this up last year, where we'll say, and it doesn't matter if you're a vendor or you're a provider, we'll segue you and work you in with an actual buddy so that you have somebody to talk to in an event, work with an event, and help show you the way. Dinner with friends, we actually borrowed this from our friends over at the Georgia chapter. They've been doing dinner with strangers forever, and it's phenomenal. Where we took it and said, let's do dinner with friends, and doesn't matter who you are, we'll pair you up. Unfortunately, we haven't seen this one in action yet, only because Govi had COVID start in May, and that's the first time we were about to do it. Let's just blame it on him. Why not? But we are looking forward to putting this out for other events and just putting people together.
Yeah, that's great. Another thing I think it's probably important mentioning here is that we capture a lot of data through the registration process.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great way to really figure out, okay, who are your new members, who are your members that want to get involved, who wants a buddy, and then taking it a step further, when they do respond, reaching out to them, sending them an invite so it's on their calendar so they know that there's a welcome lunch. And all this does really too is it takes away some of the kind of the awkwardness. Like, if thinking back when you first got involved and you went to an event, it could be a little bit intimidating. You don't know a lot of people and everything like that. So all these things are really just making folks feel more comfortable.
Yeah. And then we'll take it from our individual membership. We'll take that data afterwards, and then we'll actually follow up with them after the event to make sure that they're on. And I think we're running at about a minute and 20. So let's go off to the peer-to-peer, and I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually an idea I stole from John, and I really liked it, because if you think about it, when we sent out our membership survey, our annual survey, we always get comments saying folks want more opportunities to network, but they want the networking to be more targeted, right? Not so general. So HMA National has the community online forum groups, which are great, and there's a lot of value in that, but the topics are really broad range, and it's anyone and everyone. So this peer-to-peer groups is really more of a focused, more intimate forum, really from folks, really for the purpose of giving a lot of benefit back to the providers. So providers can really reach out and share best practice with each other. And probably now more than ever, we can leverage some of the online social platforms that HMA National is. We can start setting up different peer-to-peer groups, one on reimbursement, one on revenue cycle, one on revenue integrity. and so forth, and really provide more benefit to our members.
And this is so important because I think right now we've been so far away from each other and it's hard for us to communicate because we don't see each other at the conference. I know I've had a few conferences cancel on me where that's the time I talk to my peers, and this forum gives you that opportunity to really talk. So it's a great thing. And I think we're coming up, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to get on the last two slides, except, wow, look ahead.
Well, we'll talk. We can talk more on the Gotha campaign if there are questions on that. But
and I think you and I are available for questions. I think we're gonna have a little Q&A after this, but feel free to reach out to Govi or myself with any questions you have, and look forward to working with you guys. And we're just shy at that 2-minute mark, so I'm excited. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much. Bye.
2029.